Good, man? It's your boy, man. Jordan Reacts. We back with another video. You know what I'm saying? We react to you know what I'm saying, college football players because it's finna be here. You know, all I gotta say, man, Georgia winning the whole thing. That's all I gotta say. All you Texas fans, all you Alabama fans, all you Oregon, what's the other team? SMU, Clemson, Arizona State. Um, who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? All y'all niggas, bro, y'all finna get the belt, Georgia. That's all I gotta say, bro. And Texas, bro, you already know we finna beat y'all, niggas. We beat y'all at y'all home. You think y'all finna beat us at our home? Hell nah, shit not finna happen.
Next week, and then we'll finally have our answer on which 12 teams will be making the college football playoff. With only 1 week left to go, we have a solid idea of a number of teams that have already punched their ticket. With that being said, there are also a number of teams who are on the bubble that are going to be on the outside looking in this weekend, hoping for chaos in their favor. The college football season has already delivered its fair share of chaos up until this point, but there is one scenario this weekend that could actually break the college football playoff. Before we get to today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Best college football communities to reach the college football regardless of whatever the outcome is. In the SEC title game, you have Texas taking on Georgia. Now with Texas, if they win, they're
I say we finna get the belts in Texas.
Guaranteed a spot, but if they lose, I don't think they're going to fall outside of the top 12, so they're going to be in as well. Notre Dame doesn't play in a conference championship this weekend, but they've done enough this year. They only have one loss. Like
I said, Notre Dame, you're gonna get the belt too. My nigga, you know what we do to you. I don't even fear, bro. Half these teams I don't even fear. I'm gonna keep it real. I ain't gonna lie. Oregon, I'm gonna keep it real. Oregon, y'all offense is so godly. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna give y'all that. Y'all offense is so godly. That's all I gotta say.
Guaranteed a spot. You also then have the Big 12 champion. I like the quarterback. Hopefully it's going to be Arizona State, but it also has a chance to be Iowa State as well. Finally, you have the Mountain West champion between Boise State and UNLV. So again, right there, those are 6 teams who, in my opinion, are pretty much locks up until this point. Now, there are a couple of other teams I'm going to mention later, and I think they're probably at like a 90-95% chance of happening, but I don't want to say they're a guarantee at this point because who knows what can happen this weekend. All right, so the crazy scenario that could happen that would absolutely break the college football playoff this weekend would be 2 outcomes going this way. The first would be the ACC championship, and that would be Clemson taking down SMU. The other outcome would be Georgia losing to Texas in the SEC championship. Now,
everybody's saying that we're finna lose to Texas, bro. It's funny, bro. It's funny. It's funny. And come in the video, when we play, I'm gonna give y'all a reaction, like me reacting live to the game, like live. I'm gonna give y'all a reaction, like full reaction, play by play, everything that happens. I'm gonna give y'all that reaction when we play the game. So yeah, look, stay tuned to get that video.
Now, I'll start with Georgia because I don't think this would cause the most chaos, but it's definitely going to be interesting. Now, if Georgia takes care of business against Texas, they're going to get an automatic bid, and they're probably going to get a first-round bye. But if Georgia were to lose to Texas, that's where things would get really, really interesting. For Georgia, that would be their 3rd loss of the season. Now, I think the playoff committee has come out and said they're not going to penalize teams for losing their conference championship game, so maybe if Georgia were to lose, it's not going to impact them at all. As of right now, the latest playoff rankings haven't come out yet. This past weekend, Georgia was ranked number 7. Considering Miami lost in front of them, I'm guessing Georgia's going to move up at least 1 spot to number 6. Maybe they don't, maybe they stay at 7, but if Georgia were to lose to Texas, the real question is, does the playoff committee drop them 5 spots out of the top 12? I'm not really certain. I know a lot of people think a 3-loss team shouldn't be in the mix, but if Georgia were to lose, it's really going to be an interesting discussion next weekend. But that's not the craziest scenario that I want to talk about. If you watched my video yesterday, you know I would have talked about this, but this is something I had to make a video of entirely, and that's Clemson, who has 3 losses playing in the ACC title game. Now, if Miami would have taken care of business against Syracuse, it would have been Miami and SMU playing in the...
I'm gonna keep it real. The only team I see in our way, and like again, Oregon. Oregon is the only team that I respectfully can say that's probably in our way. All these other teams, nah, not worried about. Not worried about Ohio State. I'm not worried about, oh yeah, I forgot to mention them too. Ohio State, but y'all is so ass, gang. Y'all is so fucking terrible.
the ACC title game. In that scenario, Clemson with their 3 losses, they would have been completely out of the playoff discussion. But now because they can win their conference and potentially secure an automatic bid, the Tigers are still alive in the playoff hunt. And if they were to win the ACC championship over SMU, then we would have chaos to the absolute max.
Feel the cloud. It's ultra soft and ultra strong. Hypoallergenic and dermatologist tested. So when you're shopping, grab a pack of White Cloud toilet paper and feel the cloud.
Fuck, bro.
So earlier I said I had 6 teams that were already locks to reach the college football playoff, but if Clemson were to win, that would make 7 locks, with only 5 spots available at that point. And the way things currently look, with 5 spots available, I have 9 teams that are still alive in the playoff discussion. Those teams are Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio State, SMU, Indiana, Alabama, South Carolina, Miami, and Ole Miss. Now, you would assume in this scenario that if SMU loses in the ACC title game, they would still secure a spot in the college football playoff. I mean, if Georgia has 3 losses and they're getting a spot in the playoff, you would have to imagine SMU would get the same benefit as well. They were ranked number 9 in the latest playoff rankings, and if I were to guess, they're probably going to move up to number 8 in the next round. So they're going to be number 8 going into the ACC title game, and if they were to lose to Clemson, would that be enough to drop them 4 spots outside of the top 12? Now, personally, I don't think so, but let's say there's
I'm gonna keep it real, bro, and I'm gonna keep it like totally 100. The only reason I say that is because like the teams that don't play nobody, like SMU for example, like Notre Dame for example, like lost to NIU, Ohio State's, you know, and sometimes the Oregon, because you only play Ohio State, you ain't really play no SEC team, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm only saying. Like the teams that just don't play nobody, the Arizona States, you know, all them teams that just don't play nobody, y'all not gonna experience real comp. So when comp comes to you, you don't know how to respond. That's why I'm not worried about y'all.
Crazy scenario in which Clemson blows them out and there's some chaos that goes around with some other games, maybe there is a scenario in which SMU actually drops 3 or 4 spots out of the equation. Again, I don't think they should, but this is the college football playoff committee we're talking about. Who knows what they're going to do? You also have another ACC team in Miami who was 1 win away from playing in that conference game. Well, they're 10-2 on the season and they're still right around the mix as well. Now for the Hurricanes, this loss to Syracuse really hurt them. But the thing with Miami is they were ranked number 6.
You see what I'm saying? They playing Syracuse, gang. Syracuse is not nobody to us. Like the SEC teams is just so much different. I say with my team, you know what I'm saying? My team face adversity. You know what I'm saying? My team is battle tested. My team is gonna win the national championship. Mark my words, bro. You gonna come back to this video? I'm telling you, you will come back to the video and be like, "Oh yeah, Jordan was right."
In the latest batch of playoff rankings. After this loss to Syracuse, who I'm guessing is going to be a top 25 team, is Miami going to fall 6 spots for losing a close game? There's still a chance that Miami entering this weekend is a top 10 to 11 team, and if that's the case, would they drop for not even playing another game? I don't know what the playoff committee thinks about Miami, but we're going to have our answer on Tuesday. If the rankings come out and Miami is ranked 13 or 14, well, you can say they're officially out. But if the rankings come out and Miami's at number 9, 10, or maybe even 11, they're still very much alive inside that top 12. You're then going to have Georgia in the mix should they lose to Texas. Now at that point, again, if we're putting SMU in for losing, are we going to put Georgia in for losing despite them having 1 more loss? That's going to be a discussion the playoff committee is going to have, and I have no idea which direction they're going to go in. The next 3 teams I'm going to talk about, I mentioned earlier there are teams that have like a 90 to 95% chance. Those are these teams. You have Tennessee, Ohio State, and Indiana. Now, all 3 of those teams aren't going to be playing in a conference championship game this weekend, so it's tough to see them drop in any spots if they don't.
Niggas that play Tennessee, like, if you play Tennessee your first, like Ohio State, if you play Tennessee your first, you're going to lose. I see Ohio State losing to Tennessee. Like, I really do. I see Ohio State losing to Tennessee because they play comp. Most of their, Tennessee, most of their losses is to comp. If you want to be real. That Arkansas loss, I don't know how they lost that, but you know what I'm saying? They suck for that. Georgia, and they beat Alabama. So I'm saying they're pretty good team, you know?
don't play and they
Pretty good
don't
team.
lose. If I were to guess, I think Tennessee and Ohio State, those are probably the 2 locks to make it inside the top 12. I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, who do you think the playoff committee is going to prefer? Indiana or name brands like Ohio State and Tennessee? Indiana's going to be in a very interesting position.
Right, Indiana. I see them losing their first game or wherever they play. I see them losing.
Because in the latest playoff
They would have played us, they're going to lose.
rankings, they were ranked number 10. Maybe
Ain't
this week in the
ain't
new
nothing,
rankings,
like,
they're going to come in at
surprising
number
about
9,
that.
but
They're
they're
gonna
still
lose.
really close to outside of the top 12. Now, considering they only have 1 loss, I would still keep them in, but again, what is the playoff committee going to do? Finally, you have the 3 SEC teams that all have 3 losses in Alabama, South Carolina, and Ole Miss. Now, you can make the argument for any one of those 3 teams, and I think every argument would be entirely different. For South Carolina, they've been the better team over the last month and a half to 2 months, and they're currently looking like a college football playoff team. But they did lose to Alabama and Ole Miss, so if you really view tiebreakers as the top priority, then South Carolina shouldn't get in. At that point, you're deciding between Alabama and Ole Miss, and I don't know what direction they would go in. Now, for the sake of this video, let's say Clemson wins the ACC title game and Georgia loses the SEC title game. What would the 12-team playoff look like? Well, you would have Clemson as an automatic bid. You would then have Oregon and Penn State, the 2 Big Ten teams I mentioned earlier. You'd have Texas, whether or not they win or they lose. You'd have Notre Dame making it in. You then have the Big 12 champion and the Mountain West champion. In this scenario, we're going to say Georgia loses, but they still get a spot inside the top 12. SMU's losing their conference game, and if they're putting Georgia in, they got to put SMU in as well. You then have Ohio State and Tennessee, 2 teams that the committee is probably going to automatically want to put in as well. At this point in this scenario, you only have 1 spot that is currently available, and that spot would be between Indiana and the 3 SEC schools in Alabama, South Carolina, and Ole Miss. Now, in this scenario, I think Indiana would be
Alabama, I want you to be in, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I want you to be in. Get in, bro. Please. It just make my, you know what I'm saying? Alabama, get in. We spank y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Georgia fan, by the way, if you don't know. I'm a Georgia fan, so. You know, I know how y'all Alabama fans get, but y'all niggas talk ruthless, boy. Come to the comment section and talk ruthless, please. Please.
the most deserving.
Talk
They're
ruthless
11-1.
with me,
They were
please.
fantastic this season,
I really want you
but the
to.
resume is gross. The only good opponent they played, they lost to. And if you want
So
to
you
turn
can come
things
back
over
to the video and talk shit and make me look stupid. Shit, do
the
it.
SEC, there are teams that do
All
have
these
better
teams,
resumes,
I'm calling
but
out like Ohio States, the SMUs, the Clemsons, the Notre Dames, the Texas, the Penn States. Oh, especially Penn State. Oh my God, bro, y'all are so. I'm gonna keep it real. Y'all don't play nobody. Penn State, you know you ass.
they
I ain't
do
lying.
all have 3 losses. Now, Indiana has been a great story this year, but I could see the playoff committee looking at these schools and thinking, who is the best team out of these 4? We've seen 12 games from all 4 of these teams, and who do we think right now, as of this very moment, is the best team that would put up the best fight in the college football playoff? And I hate to say it, but I think that could be South Carolina. But if we're being honest with ourselves, knowing the playoff committee, it could be Alabama and Ole Miss. In this scenario, I didn't even include Miami, who could be in the discussion as well. So as you can see, this scenario would be absolutely chaotic, and the college football playoff committee would have a major decision on
Over-the-shoulder trick shots are hard. Saving money on car insurance shouldn't be. $835 average savings.
on their hands. Now, if Clemson were to lose this weekend, things would get a little bit easier, as there would be one more spot that would be up for grabs. If SMU wins, they're going to get their automatic bid. Then you have Oregon, Penn State, Texas, Notre Dame, the Big 12 champion, the Mountain West champion, Georgia, Ohio State, and Tennessee. All
Oh
getting
yeah, especially Boise State. I forgot. See, like teams like this, I forget that they even in. You know, because they got a chance now. Like teams like this got a chance now to make playoffs. You know what I'm saying? To see what they're about. But we know Boise State. Come on, Boise State. We know you not making. You know you not doing nothing. Come on now.
locked up spots. You would then have 2 spots to pick between Indiana, the 3 SEC schools, and Miami. It's still going to be a little bit complicated, but having 1 extra spot makes it a little easier for the committee. Now, for me personally, I don't think Clemson is deserving of making it to the college football playoff, but because of the new rules, if they win their conference, they do get an automatic bid, so they will have earned their spot. Now, despite me not thinking they deserve a spot, the college football fan in me actually wants to see them win because I want to see chaos this weekend. I want to see the the craziest outcomes that makes things impossible for the College Football Playoff Committee. Now, this is why the new 12-team playoff is so good. In years past, we'd have the 4-team playoff, and at this point, we'd probably be talking about 5, 6, maybe 7 teams at the absolute most that are still alive for the top 4 spots. But as we enter conference championship weekend, we have, 15, 16 teams that are theoretically still alive in the playoff discussion. And this is what we all wanted to see. We wanted to see all these November games mean that much more. And I think this also backs up the argument that by expanding the playoffs to 12 teams, people said that the regular season games were going to be as impactful and meaningful. Well, I think the exact opposite. This just goes to show that every game, whether it's in September, October, or November, is important, and
Right, it's just important, bro. I ain't gonna lie, and that's it. What it is, bro. It just gives teams a shot. But make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Think, like, if you got something to say, bro, just say it in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? Like, comment, subscribe, and we out of here.